Hey everyone! Welcome back to Tianshi Recaps. I'm your host Tianshi. Today we're diving into a chilling Indonesian horror film that'll make you think twice before boarding a late-night train. Train of Death, a terrifying journey where the tracks lead straight into the unknown. Let's get into it. The movie begins in a remote forest where heavy machinery tears through trees to make way for a new train track. Late at night, two mysterious strangers arrive at the construction site. They warn the project lead to stop the work immediately or face a punishment far worse than death. But the warning is ignored. The workers laugh it off and continue with the project. After work hours, most of the crew leaves for the day. Only Fadley stays behind. He's desperate to earn extra money to care for his wife. His friend decides to keep him company. While moving gravel, his friend enters a dark tunnel. Minutes pass, but he doesn't return. Worried, Fadley goes inside to check. Inside the tunnel, he finds something horrifying. His friend is suspended from the ceiling, held by a pale, terrifying ghost. Suddenly, gravel starts pouring through the man's body as if the tunnel itself is rejecting him. He dies in agony. The ghost then turns its attention to the Fadley and kills him as well. The scene then cuts to a newly constructed train station, Sankara, ready to welcome passengers for its inaugural tourist train ride. The platform is crowded with eager travelers. Among them are two sisters, Hannah and Zara, who admire a miniature model of the train. Its final destination is a remote luxury resort. Outside the station, a group of distressed women holds a protest. Their husbands, all workers from the original railway construction crew, have mysteriously vanished. But the station's founders ignore their pleas and board the train without hesitation. Hannah and Zara settle into the fifth compartment where a quiet mother and her young daughter sit behind them. Another passenger boards the train as well. A con man who recently scammed people online is now fleeing with the stolen money and his girlfriend hoping to disappear at the resort. Meanwhile, an older woman named Ramla sits alone staring at a photograph of her husband, one of the workers from the opening scenes. Suddenly, she sees her husband standing nearby. She rushes to check, but he vanishes into thin air. There she sees Santo, one of the major investors behind the station project. Ramla tries to speak to him, but the workers quickly stops her. She walks off quietly. Hannah quietly writes something in her diary. When Zara asks what it is, Hannah smiles and says she'll show her later. As Zara turns to look out the window, a crow suddenly slams into the glass, startling her. It's the first sign that something isn't right. Hannah excuses herself and heads to the restroom. Once inside, she begins to vomit violently, holding her stomach in pain. In the mirror, the ghost of one of the dead construction workers appears, the same man we saw in the opening scene, but Hannah doesn't notice. She sinks to the floor, clearly unwell. Back in the fifth compartment, the train enters a dark tunnel. As it does, the atmosphere shifts. Near the mother and daughter, a ghostly figure of a small girl appears just outside their window, silently crossing past them. Inside the control room, the loco pilot notices something strange on the surveillance monitor. One of the compartment doors is banging open and shut on its own. He sends a crew member to investigate. But as the man checks the door, he sees something horrifying off-screen and lets out a scream. At the same moment, the young daughter sees the ghost girl inside the train. The child stares, confused, until the ghost's face suddenly twists into a terrifying demonic form, sending the girl into a state of fear. Zara begins to worry when Hannah doesn't return. She searches the train and finally finds her in the fourth compartment. But as the train exits the tunnel, Hannah looks outside and is struck with shock. The fifth compartment, where they were originally seated, is completely gone. It has vanished without a trace. Realizing they narrowly escaped a mysterious fate, the two rush to inform the in-charge Tikan. He checks and confirms that the fifth compartment is missing. Stunned, he quickly seals off the area to prevent panic. But one passenger spots the missing carriage, and chaos breaks out among the others. Tikan manages to calm the crowd for now and steps away, trying to make sense of what's happening. Meanwhile, Hannah returns to the restroom again. While she's gone, Zara receives a phone call from a doctor. The news is heartbreaking. Hannah has been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and she's in the final stage. When Hannah comes back, Zara confronts her, gently asking why she kept it a secret. Hannah smiles sadly and says she just wanted to spend her remaining days happily with her sister without pity, fear, or sadness. Meanwhile, Tiken checks the main electrical box as the train lights continue to flicker. Inside, he finds the panel covered in green algae with a strange jelly-like liquid oozing out. As he stares, he sees ghosts watching him through the reflection. Panicked, he steps back just as the loco pilot arrives and the ghost vanishes. Tiken finally reveals that the fifth compartment is missing. The pilot, worried about causing a panic and angering Santo, tells him to keep it a secret. Later, Tiken reassures Hannah and Zara, claiming the fifth compartment has been found, all passengers are safe, and that Hannah's bag will be returned. Just then, the train enters another tunnel. Inside the fourth compartment, some passengers suddenly begin choking and clutching their necks. They mutter in eerie voices that no one can escape, and everyone must face punishment. It becomes clear they're possessed. A cameraman snaps a photo, but in that instant, a terrifying ghost appears, crawling upside down from the ceiling. It silently reaches him and overpowers him. The ghost then begins attacking the others one by one in a brutal supernatural assault. Zara, in the neighboring compartment, sees the horrifying scene unfold and screams. Moments later, the fourth compartment detaches on its own and vanishes into the tunnel. Santo, hearing the scream, rushes out of business class only to realize that 2 compartments are now missing. No one on board can explain what's happening. Even worse, all forms of communication with the outside world are down. The train has been completely cut off. No signals, no calls, no way to contact the station. Yama, the head of the entire railway project, decides to go ahead to the resort and try to call for help to save the passengers from the missing compartments. But while checking surveillance footage from the 5th compartment, he makes a chilling discovery. The ghost was inside all along, and every passenger in that carriage met a horrific end. Instead of sharing this with the others, Yama orders the footage to be deleted. He tells the loco pilot to stay silent. No one must know what really happened. Meanwhile, Santo, the investor, tells Hannah and Zara to move up to the VIP compartment for safety. Later, Ramla approaches Santo and shows him a photo of her missing husband, one of the original construction workers. She demands answers, but Santo avoids responsibility, saying he only provided funding. All the actual construction decisions were made by Yama. If she wants the truth, she'll have to ask him. Then Santo walks away, leaving Ramla with more questions than answers. In the VIP coach, tension rises. The other passengers begin whispering that Hannah and Zara should be removed, blaming them for bad luck and resenting their presence due to class differences and rich behavior. Suddenly, Hannah feels sick and rushes to the bathroom, where she starts vomiting blood. At the same moment, the train enters another tunnel, and everything grows eerily silent. A loud crash echoes from the canteen compartment. Santo goes to check and finds the area in disarray, tables overturned, utensils scattered everywhere. In the corner, he spots something horrifying, a ghostly figure, its body completely wrapped in spider webs, just standing still. Staying calm, Santo quietly tells everyone to move into the next compartment. But as they try, their bodies freeze. They can't take a single step. All around them, more ghosts begin to appear, staring at them. Terrified, the passengers try to move one by one. Most manage to slip past, but one woman in panic pulls out a knife and threatens the spirits. Instantly, one of the ghosts possesses her, forcing her to harm herself in a gruesome and helpless act. Suddenly, the same creepy ghost from earlier crawls down from the ceiling. It reaches Santo and overpowers him brutally. Then it unleashes itself on the rest of the compartment, claiming everyone in a chilling supernatural attack. Hannah watches in horror and tries to intervene, but she's powerless to stop it. As the train exits the tunnel, the canteen compartment is left behind, swallowed by the darkness. Now only 2 compartments remain. Panic spreads among the remaining passengers. Tiken urges the loco pilot to stop the train, but before any action is taken, Yama suddenly appears. He starts blaming Tiken for everything. He accused that Tiken was in charge and how he's the only one who escaped from the 3 vanished compartments. He is the one sabotaging the train, and his crew are thieves removing compartments to rob the passengers. The man carrying a bag full of stolen money snaps. He breaks a glass bottle and threatens Tiken, thinking it's all a setup to take his money. Amid the rising tension, Hannah spots the train approaching another tunnel. Time is running out. As the confrontation escalates, the man blocks the way, fighting Tiken. In the chaos, Hannah and Zara try to help. During the struggle, Hannah accidentally stabs the man with the broken bottle. Desperate to escape, they rush toward the business class compartment, but Yama slams the door shut, locking them out. Tekin smashes the glass, allowing Hannah and Zara to slip through, but before Tekin can follow, the remaining VIP passengers grab him, turning violent in their panic. At that moment, the train enters another tunnel. Inside, the atmosphere changes instantly. The creepy ghost reappears. It simply watches. One by one, the remaining passengers begin dying in the most disturbing way, their bodies bursting apart as if crushed by an invisible force. Tekin, injured but alive, slowly escapes to the business class. One girl begs for help, but before anyone can reach her, the ghost violently throws her out and the compartment leaves her behind in the darkness. Now, only the business class compartment remains connected to the engine. Tekin once again urges the pilot to stop the train. Yama steps forward, claiming he has the key and will handle it, but instead he locks himself inside the engine room and orders the assistant pilot to increase speed. The pilot, locked out, tells the assistant to open the door, reminding him that he's the captain and his orders must be followed. The assistant hesitates, but finally obeys. Even after the door is opened, Yama continues to speed up the train. Tekin tries to stop him, and a fight breaks out. In the struggle, Yama pushes Tekin off the train, sending him to his death. The train, now racing at dangerous speed, derails during braking. It teeters on collapse, but luckily stabilizes and comes to a stop just outside the tunnel. With Yama overpowered, the survivors tie him up inside the train. Since there's no signal or help coming, they decide to go around the tunnel on foot toward the resort. Before leaving, Ramla demands to know what happened to her husband. Yama says he knows nothing. But the pilot, who had been silent all along, finally speaks. He reveals he was with Yama, and he knows the full truth. The pilot begins revealing the truth. Originally, the railway track was planned to go around the forest, but Yama insisted it should cut straight through the center, saying passengers would enjoy the scenic view, leading to more visitors and higher profits. He ordered all trees, hills, or anything in the way to be removed. Before construction began, the village head from the nearby area came with a warning. He pleaded not to destroy the forest, saying it was protected by a ghost. If disturbed, the spirit would become angry and disaster would follow. But Yama dismissed the warning. Now the horror on the train, the deaths, the missing compartments are all a result of that decision. The ghost isn't striking randomly. It's punishing everyone for what was done to the forest. All of it happened because Yama chose profit over the sacred land. The remaining survivors leave Yama behind, tied up alone inside the train, and begin walking toward the resort through the forest. Suddenly, one by one, people are dragged away into the trees by an unseen force. From the tunnel, the ghost appears, moving silently, but with terrifying presence. The group panics and scatters, running deeper into the forest. Yama, still on the train, is left helpless. The ghost eventually reaches him, and he is violently overpowered. Elsewhere, the loco pilot sees the bodies of the dead passengers wrapped in spider webs, their eyes open and staring at him. He tries to escape, but the spirits close in from all sides. Surrounded, he is taken like the others. Hannah and Zara run without knowing where they're going. The ghost follows. They hide behind a tree, hoping to avoid it, but the spirit finds them. It screams directly into Hannah's face. Her eyes turn white, as if she is no longer herself. Around them, the train tracks are being consumed by roots. The bodies of the dead are slowly transforming into trees. Ramla is also caught by the ghost and becomes part of the forest. Hannah opens her eyes and sees both herself and Zara covered in thick roots. Zara cries, begging for help and saying she just wants to go home. But right in front of Hannah, Zara's body stiffens, her skin hardens, and she is turned into a tree. After Zara turns into a tree, Hannah finally regains her senses. Realizing what happened, she breaks down and hugs the tree that was once her sister. Crying uncontrollably, she begs the ghost to take her instead. She tells it that Zara didn't deserve this. The ghost appears one last time, looks at Hannah silently, then lets out a strange laugh before disappearing into the forest. Now the entire train is completely swallowed by roots. There is no sign left of the train, the track, or the people who once boarded it. 6 months later, Hannah, now slowly recovering from her cancer, returns to the forest. She visits Zara's tree, gently touches it, and breaks down in tears, telling her how much she misses her. As Hannah weeps, something incredible happens. The tree begins to bloom with soft, beautiful flowers. It's a sign Zara is not gone. She's still alive, living within the tree. And with that, the movie ends. Hope you enjoyed the story. See you in the next one.
Bye.
Hey everyone,